Germany stunned Portugal, the pressure mounts for Spain, Depay finally signs for Barcelona, Juventus chase Locatelli, and a transfer roundup all coming up on today's OneFootball Daily News. As I'm your host Angelina Kelly, let's get into it. First up, on last night, we saw arguably the best game of the tournament so far as Germany got a 4-2 victory over Portugal. After they lost to France in the opening game, I think it's safe to say that there were some criticisms about Germany, and they have responded brilliantly. Perhaps the thought of crashing out of a second successive major tournament for Germany in the group stage was the motivation that they needed to fight back, prove their critics wrong, and put themselves in a much more comfortable position when it comes to this group. The performance showed great morale. Germany were completely transformed in attack, and whilst it was great to see Kai Havertz on the score sheet, the star of the show had to be Robin Gosens. He was instrumental for Germany with his one goal and assist, and that disallowed goal was also absolutely brilliant. He was such a whirlwind of attacking force, and him and Joshua Kimmich in those wing-back positions caused Portugal endless problems. And speaking of Portugal, I'm sure they will be pretty frustrated as they of course let 2 own goals in. For Portugal, they will of course face France in their final group stage match. France did get a 1-1 draw with Hungary yesterday, and the pressure is definitely on for Portugal as their future in the competition does hang in the balance. But if anybody can deal with this pressure, I do think it's Portugal. Of course, when they won the Euros back in 2016, they actually progressed out of the group stage without a single win. And whilst it will not be an easy task to face France, I feel like Portugal will definitely not be going down without a fight. Next up, and after yesterday's 1-1 draw with Poland, the pressure is well and truly on for Spain, as now they have failed to win either of their first 2 European Championship games for the first time since 1996. For Poland, however, their campaign pretty much was sparked into life last night, especially thanks to Robert Lewandowski, who scored that brilliant header that Unai Simon had no chance of saving. And all Poland fans can hope for is that this will inspire the prolific goalscorer to continue scoring goals for his national side and get them out of this group stage. Looking at Spain, and they are a far cry from the dominant force in world football that we are so used to seeing. There are still some remnants of the old Spain, especially when you think about passing and possession. In their 2 Euro games, they've managed 85% and 76% possession. But if you've got all that possession, you're doing nothing with it, what's the point? They have had 29 shots on goal in their last 2 games, and they've only managed to score 1 goal. When you're thinking about what the issue could really be with Spain, of course, they do not really have that natural leader on the pitch. In the past, they've had the likes of Carles Puyol, Sergio Ramos, etc. They are without that, but also when you look at the strikers. Now, Alvaro Morata did manage to redeem himself by scoring the goal against Poland, but he didn't really provide much else. And as for Gerard Moreno, he of course missed the penalty. He is a shadow of the man that we saw last season with Villarreal, and they really do need to get their act together. However, this is still a good team with good players overall, and if Spain want to avoid another embarrassing situation like the 2018 World Cup, they are going to have to pull something special out of the bag as they go into their final game. And don't forget, you can check out plenty more Euro content not only on the OneFootball app but on the Volkswagen OneHub as well, so make sure that you check them out, and if you're watching on YouTube, the links are just below this video. Next up, and finally, yes, Memphis Depay is a Barcelona player. No more speculation, no more rumours, the deal is completely done. It was confirmed by Barcelona on Saturday evening, and I'm sure the club will be breathing a sigh of relief as this was actually the 3rd time that they have tried to sign the player. He of course arrives at the club from Lyon on a free transfer and will be at the new camp until 2023. Now, the buyout clause and what that's been set at has not been revealed, but apparently this is something that maybe they were negotiating, and that is why this transfer has taken so long. His arrival means he will of course be reunited with Ronald Koeman, who he worked with for the Dutch national team. Koeman has pretty much been pushing for the club to sign Depay since his arrival at the club himself, and the two definitely have some loyalty that runs quite deep, as according to reports in Spain, Depay was supposed to sign a 3-year deal. He opted for 2 years as a precaution, just in case Koeman does depart from Barcelona next summer. Depay's move comes as he's just pretty much at the peak of his career. Last season for Lyon, he managed 21 goals, and he will definitely help Barcelona's attack. He is their 4th signing so far this summer, and when you look at Ronald Koeman's options in attack now, it's looking pretty frightening. Pending sales and contract renewals, when you look on the left, you of course have Memphis Depay, you have Ansu Fati. On the right, there is Ousmane Dembele, Antoine Cao. Of course, there is Lionel Messi, Antoine Griezmann, and Sergio Aguero now. So if I was a Barcelona fan, I think it's safe to say you can start getting excited for the new season and what this attacking force could do. Next up, and Juventus are reportedly ready to formally approach Sassuolo midfielder Manuel Locatelli as they hope to beat other clubs in the race of getting the player to sign on the dotted line, who is currently, of course, representing Italy at Euro 2020. In the deal, as I mentioned, is Dragusin. He's a 19-year-old centre-back for Juventus who hasn't really been getting much game time. Of course, they already have the likes of Matthijs de Ligt, Leonardo Bonucci and Giorgio Chiellini, amongst others, in those positions, so it has been difficult for him. So perhaps a move to Sassuolo could provide him with a little bit more game time, although at the time of filming, Sassuolo have 6 centre-backs already on their roster, so that may be easier said than done. Sassuolo will not be giving up their strongest asset without a fight. They value him at 40 million euros and reportedly will not be taking a penny less. And with Locatelli's value only rising, especially after those 2 goals he scored against Switzerland, Sassuolo are not in a position where they want to be even discussing any deals. And with the likes of Manchester City already apparently stating their interest as well, they want to wait and see what happens. You have to admire Juventus for wanting to try and get this deal over the line. However, like I say, with Italy just going from strength to strength in Euro 2020, and Locatelli himself also performing brilliantly, I don't think that any deal for Locatelli moving away from Sassuolo will be done anytime soon. And finally, we have our transfer roundup. This is where I take a look at some of the other news and transfers going on in the footballing world. And first up, Manchester United have reportedly made an improved bid for Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, which is said to be worth over £75 million. According to Sky Sport, Bayern Munich are interested in PSV Eindhoven and Netherlands fullback Denzel Dumfries, but he could prove to be too expensive. Borussia Dortmund and Real Sociedad are working on an agreement to waiver the buyback clause for Alexander Isak so that the Spanish club can get him to sign a new contract. And finally, according to reports in Italy, Chelsea are apparently willing to offer Ruben Loftus-Cheek to Inter Milan in a bid to try and sign Achraf Hakimi. So that's everything for today's OneFootball Daily News. As always, check out all the other content that we've got here, and until next time, I will see you all later.